The group Antifa, which is short for anti-fascists, has proven time and time again that they will not stop until they silence all people who don't think exactly like them. Despite the irony, their attacks are very real. They have left buildings and property destroyed, and people injured in their wake. The Daily Wire released a timeline of Antifa attacks since their first attack occurred on Inauguration Day, January 20th. This was one of their larger movements, and the goal was to show President Trump that he was not welcome to the country, despite a win that secured a significant lead of delegates. If one examines the violent protests by Antifa from January until now, it's evident that they are becoming increasingly intense and terroristic as time goes on. At least 217 people were arrested as Antifa members dressed in all black smashed through storefronts and bus stops while looking for makeshift weapons that they could use against the police. 6 police officers were wounded as Antifa attacked law enforcement by hurling rocks and physically assaulting them. Little did anyone realize, this was only the beginning of things to come. The next significant attack occurred at the University of California at Berkeley. This particular sect of Antifa was known as the Black Bloc, and they were protesting right-wing provocateur Milo Yiannopoulos as he planned on giving a speech that evening. As a result of Antifa's actions, more than $100,000 worth of damage was inflicted, and the speech was cancelled. The group had upgraded their weapons on this run as well. Metal barriers came down, businesses were destroyed, and 6 people were injured. Video evidence shows them throwing Molotov cocktails, which they used to burn private property. They were also shooting commercial-grade fireworks at law enforcement who tried to stop them from tearing apart the campus at its seams. Next, on March 4th, a march for President Trump was interrupted by violent protests from Antifa. After they brought in bricks and baseball bats to use for weapons, 10 people were arrested. Multiple accounts of assault and battery were registered under the arrests. April 15th and May 1st saw similar occurrences. Between both days, 38 people were arrested for bringing havoc to what would have been simple, peaceful rallies. In their traditional style, Antifa showed up in all black with weapons and ready to inflict violence and destruction. They were witnessed setting fires, lighting road flares, destroying property, and ultimately costing all of the cities involved money to fix the damage caused by these violent protesters. Multiple injuries were reported. The most recent attack occurred on August 27, following the horrific events of Charlottesville, Virginia. Members of Antifa went charging into Berkeley's Martin Luther King Jr. Civic Center Park. They brought shields, weapons, and viciously beat up on Trump supporters while others looked on in horror. 6 people were injured, including police officers. There were also as many as 13 arrests, many for assault, which makes sense considering their history and ongoing protocol. An Antifa leader is calling for response and violence at upcoming free speech rallies. The violence and property damage caused by Antifa from January until now is becoming increasingly intense and terroristic as time goes on. Is it time to take action against the group and its leaders? Considering that Antifa is capable of this amount of violence and destruction just this year alone, and the trend of their actions indicates an increase in violence, serious action must be taken against them and soon. As they continue to call for and carry out additional violence, there's no telling how much damage this terrorist group will inflict by the end of the year. When does the violence end? How much longer must America put up with people being hurt by those who don't at all care for America or its values?